Right. All righty. Friday night. Hello, everybody.
Hey everyone.
Allison needs to go get some sweetener for her coffee, so we
I
wanted to
do.
start say
Okay,
hi.
I'll run off real quick while you're
All
saying
right,
hello to
she'll be
everybody. Hi
back.
everybody. I'll be 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Yep. Two shakes and a tail. Is that what it is? Two
Yep.
shakes and a something like that. So, hello, Ramon. Work lurking. Oh, you're going to have to join Allison and I again some evening. It was a lot of fun the last time you were here. And Miss Tropical Empress. Hello, Amanda. So, hope everybody had a safe and quiet or unquiet, if you like it, 4th of July. Surprisingly, we did not have a lot of shenanigans here. There were some fireworks, boom, 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 for some of the parents with the kids. And by, was it 9 o'clock, 9:30, boom, quiet for the rest of the night. So, mm, oh, tastes so good when it's first hot and fresh and going down. And hello, if I can call you Vales. Hello, Vales. Three Shifting Veils is here. So Allison will be right back. She's been super busy, so we don't really have anything planned to discuss. So we're going to just kind of play it by ear tonight. And that seems to usually to be that usually takes us into, interesting conversations of topic. So yeah, if you're in the States, hope you had a lovely fourth and got the weekend coming up. And some people have a 4-day weekend, so enjoy if you do, unless you're Ramon. Rubbing in Mr. Work lurking. So, my little bro at work, and hello, Isadora. Thank you for coming back. It's nice to see you again in chat. For I was up until about 1 o'clock. I was waiting to see because Ramon didn't know if he was going to be able to do a insomnia tarot. So the last 2 nights, I've been staying up till about 12 o'clock, waiting to see if I get a text message from him. So tonight he's work lurking, and yes, like 3 hours, and uh, but yeah, hope everybody and possibly stay tuned. Jeff, Tom, and I might be here tomorrow night. Still waiting to hear from Tom to confirm if he can or not. And so while you were getting your sweetener, we had some people popping in. Amanda is here, and I
Hello
called her
everybody.
Veils. Three Shifting Veils. Veils is here. Isadora came back. I did a show with Nancy today. We talked about the Stargate. Well, not the Stargate, but
During the day?
yeah, we
Oh,
talked
cool.
about the Sirius, and we pulled cards. And Nancy actually made. She was uh, guided by her guides this morning to do watercolor cards of her own, and she used them
Oh,
for readings today. So that was lovely. So we got to do that. We were on for about an hour and a half, maybe two of that. So let's see. When you did my reading earlier and you said amethyst, I just bought an amethyst pendulum. Wonderful, nice. And amethyst is one of those lovely, all encompassing. It has multiple. It's very versatile. So it's wonderful for dreams. It's wonderful for spiritual connection with your guides,
it just feels
meditating.
good too. I love
Yep.
amethyst.
And for an entertainment purposes only, one of the possible physical benefits of amethyst is for people who are overcoming certain addictions, especially possibly alcohol. It's supposed to be a stone that kind of helps
I
with
remember reading that.
the um,
Yeah.
the withdrawals and or curbing the desire. And again, entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
So lots of wonderful um, versatility with crystals. And some people don't even believe in it, and they say they're pretty. They love to have them around their home, but
Yeah.
I think was that you last week that said that you don't
No.
know. Oh, there was
I mean,
somebody
I
that I
don't know
was
for certain, but then again, none of us do. I
exactly
mean, there's the whole placebo effect too, but I do think that there's,
placebo.
come
Hello,
on, it's
Jessa.
of the earth. And for anyone that thinks that, we're all just here and there's nothing other things at play, I think you're tripping. I mean, come on.
So wait a minute. You had to wait 24 hours to do a show? Why would YouTube tell you that? Oh, maybe because you were doing a lot. I don't maybe see I go through StreamYard. I only do YouTube every now and then. So maybe YouTube allows you to only do so many lives or shorts or something.
Who was that?
for
I
me.
didn't get to read what you
Oh,
put
I'm
up.
sorry, Amanda.
That's okay. What does it say word for word? I'm on my phone right
She
now.
goes, I was going to do a live yesterday using my new decks. I haven't opened yet, but YouTube told me I have to wait 24 hours.
I haven't what yet?
Decks that she hasn't opened up yet.
What does that mean?
Well, she got decks that she hasn't opened up yet. She wanted
deck
to do
that
a
she
live.
hasn't opened up yet.
But
And
YouTube
YouTube
told
told her
her-
she had to wait for 24. No explanation. Just you got to wait 24 hours.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about unless they did. And sorry to hear about that. That's kind of weird. But, this is YouTube. Hello, Miss Tarot D. I hope you're feeling a little better.
Hi, Miss
Thank
Tarot
you for
D.
popping in earlier. Crystals are used in watches. Yes, they are.
Yeah,
They're in
of
our
course.
computers, our phones. So we have them in our, in our bones and our blood. I mean, we're made of crystal as well. So
Crystalline.
it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me that we get benefits from them because everything on the planet is supposed to be here for our
It does.
benefit.
When you think about it, that's a great
To a certain
point,
degree.
Heather. Yeah, yeah. I'll just leave it at that. Yes, I agree. Yep.
What were you going to share?
Nothing. I was just going to
Oh.
say that's true. And actually, I won't because I can't remember enough of it. And I can't stand it when somebody talks on something and they don't either know the details or can't remember. So I'll just be brief. But a lot of you probably know because I've mentioned it. I was a personal fitness trainer for years and I was certified through National Academy of Sports Medicine, blah, 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 blah. And you do this whole deep dive on certain things in the body, right? Mm-hmm. Not quite kinesiology, but pretty close to it. And but anyway, the bones, it's a whole crystalline, whatever structure, and that's whole thing is explained. And yes, yep.
Now there's some books that go to claim that each stone does this. I mean, sometimes they have a list, and I'm like, well, how do you know that it does? And I guess you kind of go by the author, how much research they actually did or secondhand information, but at the same time, something that somebody might find works for them. Let's say amethyst helps me with bad dreams, and then someone says, well, it really doesn't help me with bad dreams, but helps me with this. So for me, I associate the stone with something else. So again, different experiences, different experiences, really.
At one time, I had an obscene amount of crystal books because my ex-husband, one Christmas, bless his heart, and he always did really good with gifts. But one year for Christmas, because he would take an idea and run with it, and he got me like 6 books, I'm not kidding, on crystals, and they were all different, and I was a little overwhelmed. And part of the thing that I immediately realized, looking up different crystals that I already had, which I didn't have very many at the time, everybody's saying something different. There were some repeats, but a lot of it was varied. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I had an issue with is you write a book and you've got like 80 crystals and you're saying what their thing is or what their use is and what their healing property is and all this kind of stuff. And then somebody else, some of it's the same, a lot of it's different. You move on to okay. You can't all be, so I do think that it's whatever you pick up intuitively. Also, all of our gifts are different. So it's probably it's a combination of those things. And for me, and we kind of touched on this last week, and I'll be brief, is just that when you're attracted to a stone, you know that you probably also to some degree know what it's for. And that stone might be used for many things. So personally, and everybody do what they want, don't get too hung up on the books. Yeah, they're a great reference point. They're fun to have, and it's fun to look it up.
Reference points.
Pick your one favorite book would be my suggestion, and kind of use, or 2, maybe 3. Again, just my suggestion, but you go by how you feel. What do you think it helps you with? What do you use it for? Rather than, well, this book said that, and it's like, just, yeah.
So when I worked at Crystal Magic, I was grabbing all the crystal books as they were coming in because I was learning and I was
Sure.
studying Reiki and stuff. So some of those are gone, but the ones that I have held on to, I mentioned this last
Yeah,
week,
that's the
the
only
Book of
one that I kept.
Stones.
That's all I got. Well, actually,
Um,
that's not true. I got two
there
books. That
is a
one and
third
another one.
edition that I would like to get because it includes more stones. This one here is lovely, $5 at Five Below if you have a Five Below in your area. I don't know if you know how which stores get them and which ones don't, but that was a nice one. And anything really by Judy Hall is really good too. I like Judy Hall. She was one of the ones on the market the first time with a real popular, substantial, I don't say it was cohesive, but comprehensive guy. It was called the Crystal Bible, and
I
that's
had that
where
with a white cover,
a
little
lot
short,
of
chunky book, super
yeah,
cute.
it was. And
I got
so
rid of that one time most recently, but anyways, shut up. I'll shut up. Go ahead. It
no,
just
you're
made me
fine.
think of it, and I'm drinking coffee, and I'm like, yes.
Yep. So am I. I needed to pick me up. We had burgers for dinner. I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm like, who I need to
Yeah,
pick me up.
same.
So I just been going ahead and highlighting a few comments. Miss Taro D didn't know that you were a personal trainer, or
Oh
not
yeah,
trainer.
girl, for years. Yeah,
But yes. And
years. Yep.
also we have Nancy joining us again. Hello, Nancy, my dear.
Hi,
Thank you for
Nancy.
being here. And Isadora, crystals are millions of years old and are natural. Yes, they are.
Yep.
And Ms. Taro D also shared, we also have crystals in our ears, and if they fall out of place, you get vertigo. So that might be why I
True.
had vertigo for
That
about a
is
week
true.
there. My rocks were loose.
Yep.
I had a few, instead of loose screws, I had a few loose rocks, a few loose crystals. So everyone here is saying hello to everybody. Preach, Allison. You are so right, Miss Taro D. And yes, individual energy for each person. Exactly. Case in point, like we were talking about last Friday, the Moldavite. Some people hold it, no major effect on them. Others they hold it and they get dizzy, lightheaded, and they have to set it down. So
I want to
we
try
are.
it. I've only seen it under glass, and I really want to. Actually, we'll probably get over there. Not to digress, but real quick, we'll probably get over there either maybe next weekend, or if not the following. My man and I, because I want to figure out what the sphere is, you guys. Those of you that were here last week couldn't find the box, don't know what it is.
They've been asking me all
but
week.
It gives me an excuse to go to World of Rocks and find. I must have thrown it away in one of my feng shui attacks. I get rid of stuff and I just throw stuff away and whatever. I know I had repurposed it at some point, but I eventually threw it away. But anyway, they have Moldavite there, and I want to at least put it on my hand. I don't know anything. I've never experienced it. I just want to see what it feels like.
And it's different when I hold it. I'm like, okay. I mean, haven't really worn it for long. It's such a cool shape that's kind of hard for me to. I didn't want
Yes,
to
it's
wire
very
wrap
crazy
it,
looking.
and so for me it would be, I don't know, and it's not a stone right now that I'm drawn to work with. And some of my crystals now I want to start packing for next year. I want to make sure they're safe. I got special little bubble packages for some of my precious stones so that when we move, they're safe.
So they're safe.
They're not.
Yeah.
So Amanda was just agreeing also with you. I think it's going to vary from person to person based on how in tune they are. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's pretty much it with the comments. So, yeah, those are, I mean, this is a cute little book. It's got Bumblebee Jasper. It's got some nice pictures.
I want to get a piece of that.
The Bumblebee Jasper.
I love Heather knows this. I love anything bees. I always have. I love bumblebees, and I've seen Bumblebee Jasper. I mean, I get why they call it that, but it's cute. And the funny thing is about bumblebees and that stone, I don't really like yellow particularly. I think it's lovely though. I think it's very pretty.
It's very cute. And hello, Tom. He says hello.
It feels happy. It's a nice little energy.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. There is subtleties with. And not to get all in the thing about Moldavite, the thing that I've noticed consistently, and it could be a whole, because we're humans, right? We get wrapped up in ideas. But putting that aside for 2 seconds, People almost always say, when I've heard people talk about it or even read about it, you're going to feel something when you hold on to Moldavite. And so I just want to try it. Is it good, bad, different? It seems like some people gravitate towards it and other people don't, or it could be too unsettling. And maybe that depends on, could be a lot of things. Are you really sensitive? Are you an empath? Do you have PTSD? Do you, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
do you get amped up easy? Who knows? Might have the opposite effect on some people.
Yes. I mean, I saw that the one day with the girl at the store. And Tom says, and hello to my favorite piece of shungite. He still believes your little sphere is a shungite.
It might be, honey. Hi, how are you?
I'm agree. I mean, I think it is, but we'll see.
And absolutely. And the only reason, and I got no problem saying if I'm wrong, y'all, and I will tell you what they tell me. Also, hey, maybe it was labeled wrong. That's totally possible.
I like that.
I know. I know the box did not say shungite, but that doesn't mean that it's not.
Just never know.
I mean, I know that people are sold stuff by the wrong name.
Mm-hmm.
Or you got somebody just acquired a bunch of stones and they're selling them, and because I had somebody in a store once trying to tell me, I'd be making it up if I tried to say what it was, something, and I knew that it wasn't what they said, but I didn't want to get into any kind of back and forth, so I just didn't say anything. And I don't remember if I bought it or not, but I remember thinking, he's wrong, and I don't even know that much. And I was like, that's not what that is. Yeah. But anyhow, and that totally could have happened with this. I'll let you know what I find out. And they are all University of Michigan students for the most part that work there, and they're total like rock nerds. They know what they're doing, and they will tell me for certain what it is.
Too bad we can't do one of those pooling bets. Okay, $5
right?
For shungite, $5 in for
I love that store too, and I've been to many rock stores over the years. I mean, and I'm sure there's really cool ones all over the states, but this store it's really freaking amazing.
And Vale says that's why I use Rock Identifier. There's an app.
Yeah,
I tried it before.
I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised because they got the whole plant one, and it makes sense, and I will check that out.
So we may, but she still needs to go in for her Moldavite.
Yeah, and it's so cool. And I'll be brief, but they've got this huge, like a 50-inch monitor, might be even bigger than that, on the wall. And then there's a magnifying microscope, and they take your stone and they put it under the microscope, and there it is up on the wall, hugely magnified so everybody can see it. And they will sit and point out the inclusions, tell you what all is in it. I mean, it's really, really cool.
I would love to visit
for free. Store. They just offer it, So, and I think it's cool that you can just take stuff in the store that's yours, and they'll just do it for you. So it's really neat.
And talking about rock stores, Shannon and I watched a video that was just uploaded about a week or two ago of this guy just doing a walkabout downtown Ashland. And I thought there was only one metaphysical store. There's like 2 or 3. So I got plenty of places.
I'm not surprised
for crystals and stuff. And then there's areas that you can go hike out in the the fields and stuff and look for jaspers and things. So I am so excited to get my hands on some Oregon opal and Boulder opal and all this stuff. I'm total. Oops. Well, that's
but cool, the last Allison. Time I was there. Yep. The last time I was there. So super brief. When I was married years ago, I was married for 10 years to my son's father. We used to go to Portland. We lived in Marin County, California, and we would go once a year, maybe twice a year, to see his brother who lived in Portland. And halfway was Ashland. And so we would drive halfway. Ashland Springs. We would always stay. Isn't it Ashland Springs?
Just Ashland.
Ashland. And we would always stay at the Ashland Hotel, which has been there forever and has a ghost, by the way. Has a ghost. And we would stay there, and directly across the street, you probably already know this, is their rock shop, crystal shop, metaphysical shop, whatever.
The main big one.
The original one. I believe that there's more. Totally believe you. But straight across the street, unless it's changed or moved, that's where their one metaphysical store was. And it was so cool because we would always go, and he would go along with me. He kind of like, okay, he didn't really care about going, but he'd go. And or I'd go by myself. I'd usually go once or twice while we were there, but I went every time we stayed at that hotel, which we stayed there several times. And
did you ever experience paranormal activity when you were there?
I didn't. I would love to say that I did. We were there several times at Christmas time, and the hotel is beautifully decorated at Christmas time. And then I know that they always did you probably know more about this just because you've looked into it, but they always celebrate, they have like a whole Shakespeare celebration
Shakespeare festival and everything.
Festival. We've been there for that. And you know, I do a little bit of shopping. It's extremely expensive there, but well, I was living a different life there, but I never really bought very much anyways. But it's very, very beautiful upscale little town, and it's just fun to go and look around. Everything there is just gorgeous, and it's really fun to check it out if anybody gets a chance or ever wants to. And I do like Portland a lot. It's just it rains too much there for me, but I do love Oregon, and they are dealing with a lot of crime now in Portland. I'm sure you're aware of that with the whole police thing, but Oregon is beautiful. Oregon has
problems with graffiti, because the graffiti artists keep coming up, and they're doing having problems with homeless, with
it's
drug.
It's
Wait a minute. So Miss Taro D says, "Sorry, I stepped away. Where's Allison talking about Burning Man?"
Nope.
No, we're talking about where I and Shannon and I are going to be living next year. I just keep saying that. Either in Ashland or maybe in an outskirt town, and hopefully then maybe at one point we can get into there. But our map came in. I ordered a map a couple weeks ago for the state of Oregon. And it was supposed to come between July 2nd and July, I think it said 5th. And so I looked at this morning before we went shopping. I'm like, nope, not going to be today, I guess, you know. So we come home and Shannon's like, oh, what's in front of our door? And they actually brought it upstairs because they broke the door again to the building. They broke the door was fixed for 2 days, and then somebody came in, got angry that it was locked, shook it so hard, shook almost the whole section of our building, busted the metal, bent the metal in the door. And so now we have a broken door again. So they were able to come up and put the map up against our door. And so now we have a map, but we just need to wait when we get there to get one for the streets for our area. But we have our cross-country map already, and we have our Oregon map for the state. So
nice.
Getting really excited. So. But so now what?
I don't know.
How was your 4th?
It was good. We were gonna maybe go to my sister's, but we were invited to come over for a very, very super casual, not even 4th of July party. But my sister was joking around. She said, "Do you want to come over for our super lame 4th of July party?" And I was like, "Sure." Meaning, you guys just want to come over. I was like, "Sure." And so we were going to come over. And then she texted me like a little while later, because the time was tentative. And she was saying that my brother-in-law definitely had a cold, and then he was going to lay down, but we were still welcome to come, and this, that, whatever. But with my man's relocating to a new place next week.
Yeah, you don't want him to get sick.
It's a huge move. And so we were just like, well, so we might go like, because he's with me through the weekend, because everybody's got a long weekend, right? So we might go, I don't know, maybe Saturday night or something like that instead. And he'd probably be fine. He travels a lot, flies a lot, my sister's husband. And so he gets a little... we were laughing and kind of talking about this, because like he does this and he fights it and fights it and fights it, and then he crashes, right? And then he'll sleep really hard for like a day and a half, and then he's fine. Some people are just, I don't know, it's just weird. And then we were talking about how different people get sick different ways, and they have, like when my son was little, I'll just say this really quick, he did this, he wasn't sickly at all, but once in a while, usually after school, he'd come home, he'd have a light fever. I don't feel good. I'm going to go lay down. It's like, okay. And he'd go in and he'd sleep from like 4:00 in the afternoon or 3:00 in the afternoon, whatever, all the way through the night. I just let him wake up in the morning. He's fine. Fever broke, whatever it was, he got it, right? Because he had such a good, thank God, immune system, right? breastfed till he was almost 3. Makes you a strong immune system. It just does. I don't know if that's why, but he was
Some
he's
people
always
believe
been
that.
able to fight stuff. Always able to fight stuff. But anyways, and he still does that. Even still, it's happened a couple times. Like, he doesn't feel good. He doesn't eat. He doesn't do anything. And he just goes to his bed, shut the door, don't bug me. I just sleep right through it. I can kind of do that. I'm really good at laying in bed and staying there if I don't feel good. I can sleep for part of it, but like, he'll just sleep. And my sister's oldest is like that too. But it's just interesting how certain people, how we all handle getting sick differently. Obviously, there's various illnesses and that kind of thing, but like viruses, fighting off bugs and that kind of stuff. It's just kind of interesting subject. But anyways, we didn't end up going anywhere. Long-winded point. Wow. Let's see. We didn't really do anything. We shopped. Again, like I mentioned, my partner's going to be moving, and we were like getting all today and yesterday, just getting all the little this and that's that he needs and everything else and whatever. So
we had to cancel our day with the grandkids because my husband woke up with a major migraine. Noise, lights, and the smell from all the fireworks was too much for him. Yeah. It's not good for any of us. And Jonathan brought that up too today during our show with Nancy, that people don't realize that you breathe in all these fireworks. That's adding a lot of like sulfur and toxins and stuff in the air. And we're
don't get me started. Yeah.
And we're all breathing that in.
Yep.
So
it's just straight up trash. Well, the sulfur, but like all the chemicals and the dye and all whatever God knows what else is in there. The one good thing is that it didn't scare my dog. My one dog never cares, but my other dog, Miss Tarot D Scout, is terrified. It's so sad. And it's horrible. That's another thing I think they need to, unpopular opinion, they need to ban fireworks. Each town has an organized event. That's it.
That should be it.
Crap who disagrees with me. They need to get rid of fireworks. Scares all the wild animals, all the domestic animals. Wakes your babies up. It's just bad news. It's bad for the environment. It creates fires, blah, blah, blah. And I don't give a shit who's like, but I love fireworks. Oh, well, they need to be controlled, limited just to like the 4th. That's it. And that's my opinion.
And a lot of people don't realize our men and women coming back have PTSD.
Yes, that too.
Hear stuff like that.
Add it to the list.
And not
sounds
just
like gunfire,
but people who have been experienced violence with guns. Couple times we can't really tell the difference. I'm like, holy shit, was that a firework, honey, or was that gun? Because where we're at up in the falls, the games are becoming more proliferate, whatever, and prolific. And we got, and there's just a lot of, they don't even report them anymore. They took the pages off of Facebook.
They need to be banned.
And it's just, so a lot of people, suffer from it. And Tom said too that it ruined most of his day off because he had a terrible migraine. I'm
sorry, honey. It's just toxic. It's just gross.
So talking about Witch Fest is coming up in New York City in the Bronx near Miss Tarot D. So nice. Robin is Toadstool's Tarot, and so he's going to be meeting up with y'all. That is lovely. And Moon Scarab. Oh, and Ramon. Oh, I'm so jealous.
Allison, I can't. The print is so little. Let me see if I can make this bigger.
We'll there we go. For Witch Fest. I'll give her money. we'll take a road trip. Would definitely do that. Yeah, I wish I could get out there and hang with you guys before we move. It'd be nice to see you. But then y'all have to just come out to Oregon and visit, and we'll show you around. Grimly has been scared shitless the last few days. Grimly's one of his black cats.
Oh, so she is, and that's a dope ass name, by the way. I love that.
Grimly, yeah.
Yes,
she's cute.
Very, very, very cool name.
Challenges, yeah. Is Tarot D talking about, challenges?
That's a good point. 3 Shifting Veils. I just was able to pull the comments up. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, here we go. Allison neighbors had fireworks all weekend. Tired of them.
Yeah,
fireworks
Isadora,
need to go. They are legal in New Jersey, but are still legal again now, and it's insane. Everywhere you go, they have these huge tents, Walmarts, the other plazas. It's like you can't get away without having all this in your face about. Damn, Allison is going to church again tonight. As Daryl D says.
Going to church. Oh, I'm slow. What's that joke mean? I'm not getting
going
it.
to church. You're preaching. You're taking us to church. We're going to church. So
oh yes, exactly. I'm preaching. Yeah, sorry, girl. I'm slow on the uptake. So what was I just gonna say? Oh, so Scout, his hearing has started to go just in the last couple of months. He's fine though. I mean, anybody that has an old dog, you know their hearing. But the one upside, because he barks at too many things.
Most dogs do.
None that I've had have been big barkers. Scout barks though. He's very communicative. He's a talker. But anyways, he gets very, very frightened of the fireworks, and his tail goes down. His tail is always up on his back. He's got that curly tail. His tail goes down between his legs, and he gets afraid. He wants to go into the bathroom and lay next to the toilet, between the toilet and the bathtub. He doesn't like the bathroom. He never goes in the bathroom.
Same thing with my Lilu. Yep.
So it scares him. Yeah. And last night, Anthony and I were laying on the couch together out in the living room because the air was on. So we were just out there. Actually fell asleep early and then woke up. We were up late, blah, whatever. But we're out there and Scout's with us at the foot of the couch when the fireworks started. We had the air conditioning on the whole time, so which dampened it a bit. But he did end up hearing it, but he couldn't hear it nearly as loud as thankfully it turned out to be a no big deal. And then here fireworks have to be done at like 11 on the 4th of July. They'll come out and ticket you, and it's enforced because it's Ann Arbor. And then on other nights, it's an earlier time, but I don't know. So I'm not going to say, I think it's 10, but on the 4th, they have until 11, and it's enforced. Like they'll ticket you heavily if you do any fireworks. So they stop at 11. But anyway, so then we were able to take them outside. But when we walked outside, it was probably like 12:30 by the time we went outside. Cause we laid down early and napped on the couch. And then anyways, went outside. It was well after midnight, but there was still like that haze, right? That you can see, and you could smell it a little bit, and it's just gross. It's disgusting. It's toxic. It needs to go away.
Yeah, like you said, except for certain areas that where people can go, and that's it. I hate the ones in the back. Well, it's different. Back when I was younger, we didn't have the loud, explosive sounding ones like you can buy now. It's ridiculous.
The ones that the cities put on, and they do them over the lake and all that are beautiful. Okay. And again, that's what I'm saying. So you can have a gathering. Shit, you could even charge money for it, which they shouldn't. But whatever. I'm just saying, just to make sense of it all. But like the other stuff that you buy, they're not even impressive. They make a bunch of noise. It's just like, for what? It's just dumb. And it's usually a bunch of drunk people. Somebody ends up blowing their arm off. It's just dumb.
And Miss Taro D says, I saw a group using 1,000 drones make firework like images in the sky on America's Got Talent. So there's other ways that it can be done. And
hopefully we'll see that more common in the next couple of years. Yeah, that would be nice.
I had M80s back in your day. I remember.
And they were beautiful. M80s. They are beautiful, like real fireworks. Of course, I enjoy them. But I just think it should be limited to that one day a year. It's done by a safe group of people. It starts this time. It ends at this time. You can come early. You can sit on the grass. You can watch it. I don't know. Just not the way that people would just go buy this trash and light it, and it makes a bunch of noise, and it's just, God, when are we going to implement some laws about pollution? It's just insane that we're even talking about this, you guys. If you think about it, it's just nuts. And the fire hazard and everywhere else, and all the dry, hot weather, and
now it's a lot different. Sense. For me, one of my favorite things was the sparklers my dad would get us. Those were fun. And then there was something called the Roman candles, where they would just shoot like a couple little balls.
Sparklers don't make any noise. You hold it in your hand. It's some kind of, I don't even know what that is on there. Yeah.
Don't get us started again.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
See, even Isadora says that she's seen some examples of drones doing fireworks. And even
Yeah,
Tom
that's
says, yes, they
cool.
look amazing. So there's always, hey, Mandy.
Hi,
The Mystic
Mandy.
Tarot is here. So, yeah, Tom, email me when you can later and let me know about tomorrow night. See if you're available for a pop-up with Jeff and I. I mean, we won't do one without you. I mean, that's a given, but let's see, Miss Tarot D. I saw something similar too. They need to make something like those Christmas lights that are projected on buildings, only be able to do it upwards. That would be interesting. That really would be. I don't know how they would do that, but I heard on the news earlier this year, people shot off fireworks from the roof and it landed on another apartment buildings and lit them on fire. The police arrested them for it.
Good.
Well, I hope so.
Good. But again, you shouldn't even be able to buy the shit.
Yeah.
I really don't think so. I don't even think you should be. There's no reason for us to have that stuff. None. Zero.
And Tom says with the drones, they make like pirate ships and dragons floating in the sky. It's beautiful.
Ooh.
So
I love both of those things. Pirate ships and dragons.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Little Jack Sparrow waving from his pirate ship.
Yes, please.
So we're all caught up. So do we want to pick a topic? Do we want to do readings? What's you in the chat in the mood for?
I don't know. No. We can do readings. We can talk on something. I don't know. I'm kind of a blank right now.
We have all week to figure this out, and then by Friday we're like, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? But life happens. A man died after he was showing off and put a lit firework on his head. Why the hell would you do something
because
like
he was
that?
drunk. Because he was drunk. And you have drunk idiots and you give them fireworks and then you do shit like put it on your head or blow your arm off or other equally. You could probably Google fireworks and injury or fireworks death, whatever. You're gonna have all kinds of crazy shit come up, and most of it took place on 4th of July.
Oh, what would happen if I dropped a firework into my pants?
Yeah, exactly.
You lose that. You know what?
Or a really bad third burn, or what did he say?
It's called thinning the herd.
Thinning the herd. Yeah, right?
Yeah, crazy people. Yeah, no. And then they teach their kids to do that, and then, no. So, well.
Oh, and today, just mentioning this, and I didn't do a candle, but I should do one for her later. Today is the death anniversary of my favorite grandmother. She's one of my guides and one of my ancestors that I work with most thoroughly with. And I hope she'll forgive me because I love her to death. This would be my dad's mother, my grandma Jenny. And it's her death anniversary. I mean, I care more about the birthday, but I do also acknowledge the date of death. It's just something I do. But I usually would have burned a candle and yeah, I didn't do all that for her. I did recognize or acknowledge her and I spoke on her name. And I did see several Blue Jays feathers today, which is one of my symbols for her. And I also had a couple butterfly things hop out at me when I was out shopping, and the whole monarch butterfly thing. I think I told you about that with her. That's a whole thing. And so she's around for sure.
Beautiful.
And some people believe, and I'm not saying if it's true or if it's not true, but when you speak about somebody that's in spirit, and I don't know if Tom, just cover your ears.
Yeah,
I don't know if this is earmuffs, Tom. I don't know if this is if they've just not yet incarnated or if this can happen even if they have incarnated. But the theory is anyways. I don't know how I feel about this, but I have seen some, I'm not going to say proof, but some hints that it could be true, that whenever I speak on somebody that I love, that I'm close to, that's in spirit, usually that day I get some things that pop out, and they're usually kind of close together. And so for me, that's an acknowledgement. So I can't see the emojis he used.
He's just laughing. It's just the
He's
side
just
where it's like,
laughing.
ha, ha, ha.
So, but yeah, so like, but my grandma Jenny, blue jays, I saw blue jay feathers. I got some, and it wasn't like they were there, like on the sidewalk in front of me walking. I haven't seen any blue jay feathers in I don't know how long. I saw like 3 today. And then all this butterfly stuff when I was out. That could just be, right? I'm not trying to make that fit, but the blue jay feathers thing, that was a little, that was her.
And Amanda says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Allison. Today is the death anniversary of one of my aunts. I have got visits from her since her passing. I made a video this morning talking about my spiritual paranormal experience."
Cool.
Amanda,
and don't be sorry. It's okay.
Yeah.
And thank you, though. I do appreciate it. But she,
here we go.
We all die. And she died many years ago, which, does make it easier and easier as time goes on. But she's very much around me. And some of you may remember, I'll say this quickly. Some of you may remember, those of you that watch me talking about being on the cruise ship, and I got a reading. This was years ago. And my grandparents brought through my very good friend who had died that my son is named for, his namesake, his middle name. But anyways, this is that grandma, Jenny. And so, and she came through with my grandfather and showed the huge monarch butterfly painting to John Holland. And he saw it and recognized that that's my grandma.
And you got, and he bought that little trinket for you too, you said.
Yes, he brought me the angel. And she also, just real quickly, this is kind of weird, but yet I didn't think it was weird. It's really not weird. I guess looking back, it kind of could. Anyways, she also had in her house, there were different butterfly things, but she had real butterflies that were under glass, like in like long skinny frames. Like I think there were 3 in each one, and she had 2 of them. So it was kind of like a shadow box, but they were mounted with, I believe, pins, but you didn't notice the pins, but the full butterfly, right? You know how they would do that.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful, and she loved them. And I wonder where the hell those ended up. My stepmom probably ended up with them, but they were very cool. And she loved, a lot of people like butterflies. She loved butterflies, like really loved butterflies. So it was very cool.
Before we get to Miss Tarot D's question, Tom said this month is the deathversary of my father, July 22nd, 1988. So my mother was the first.
Acknowledgement to your dad.
Yeah. So your dad, and then my mom.
July 22nd. Yeah. Well, and my good friend that I'm talking about that died, that death anniversary is coming up. He died July 27th, which is the evening that my son was conceived, that same night. Yes.
Interesting.
That's correct. Yeah, same night. So I would have named him for him regardless, but the whole thing, there's more to all of that. Very, very interesting. I believe all of that. Too. He does watch over my son. He does. He's there. Yep.
And Vale says, my best friend passed away back in 2018. She finally sent me a message this week. I closed my eyes and a burst of her favorite color appeared. That was a first. Well, that's lovely. And thank you for sharing that with us.
It's very cool.
It's beautiful. Yep. That's my grandma right there. She's over my shoulder. So
yeah, that's so neat how you can see her. I noticed that like a while ago. But yeah.
And I used to look at that picture when I was a very little girl. When we would go over visit my grandma, I would pull out all the family photo albums, look at all the pictures. Didn't really know a lot of people, but I was just fascinated with looking at family pictures. And I saw that. That was always my favorite. And when she passed away, I couldn't find the picture. And then it was about 6-7 years ago, when I was still talking to a cousin of mine. She said, I was telling her about the picture, and she goes, wait a minute. She took a picture, and she goes, are you talking about this picture? And I was like, oh, my picture of my grandma. She goes, I'll send it to you. And I'm like, oh my God. So all those years later, I got my grandmother. So,
Yeah.
So I'm glad she reached out to you, Vales. That is beautiful. And let's see. All righty. Miss Tarot D asked, and actually I pulled a couple cards, Miss Tarot D. I was interested. It says here, interesting. If someone gets reincarnated, can they still be a spirit guide? Interestingly,
You know what? Actually, I'm sorry, babe. Go ahead.
no, I'm just going to show really quick. I think so. I have Knight of Swords, which is coming through messages, clarity. Having that thought, having them come into your thoughts. It's that fast moving actions, kind of like when you get those hits, those messages. And on the bottom, I got the Four of Wands, which is about celebration, foundations, and family and home. So yes, I think it is possible, according to me and what the card said. So go ahead.
So what I was going to say is, and yeah, I agree with Heather, is that, so I'm not really positive, right? None of us are really sure about any of this stuff, but for me, so there was a concept that was introduced to me not that long ago. Some of you may have known this for longer than I did, but I don't even know when this came about. But anyways, so sorry, I'm just trying to think how I want to word this. So it's my understanding, and it's not like I totally believe this, but I do think it's possible. I absolutely think it's possible. So we are not limited. So, okay, let's say that we all are divine. We are all God spark, whatever you want to call it, right? So you have your soul, your spirit, but you are part of a bigger mass, right? There's a theory out there, and this is what I'm about. So that you can be incarnate and or doing lots of things simultaneously, consistently, and intermittently, because you are not limited to this. Oh, all of you, your entire soul, all of your being, all of your essence is shoved into this body, and that's just it. Mm-hmm. When you really think about it, or me, and it's not like I sit around thinking about this all the time, it makes sense that that would not be the case. For one, your higher self, or whatever people use the different words, is on the other side all the time anyhow, a part of it. Mm-hmm. You don't completely come over. So that right there is two pieces, if you believe that. There's people out there that believe that you can be living multiple lives in different places. There's people that believe that's what the whole, and I hesitate to even say this, that's really what a twin flame is. It's your soul incarnate in another life somewhere else. It's not a romantic union and all that romanticized fluff, whatever. And I'm not ragging on that. I'm just saying that that's really what that is. And you don't meet up because there's no point. The point of being in a body is so you evolve as a soul, you have an experience. So you would be here and you'd also be wherever the hell, not even necessarily on the same timeline. It could be years forward, years behind, different simultaneous. You're not going to cross paths because the whole point is about evolving and having an experience. Also, there's belief that, you could be on another planet. You could be wherever. I really do think it's possible. I think that all of our human thinking is far limited from what we really can do. If you think about it, and I'm going to slightly digress from that, but a little bit, if you think about the fact that you can create, you are the magician, you can create stuff, good or bad, thinking on shit. Right? Why? Because you're divine. Right? So if you stress and worry and you can create something bad. If you're really optimistic and light and whatever, you can create something good. You can also manifest something by putting the intention out there and then forgetting about it, but keeping your vibration high. I'm not saying any of these things are easy, whether it's the good or the bad. It takes
Mm-hmm.
a lot of effort, whether you're taking a lot of effort to create something good or you're taking a lot of effort to create something bad or whatever. My whole point is it's because of what you really are, your true essence, that you can create with this in your intention and your energy. Really, it's your energy probably more than anything, right? It's either light or it's toxic or somewhere in between or whatever. My whole point is, yes, I think you can do all kinds of stuff simultaneously. I really do. And I also think that it's quite possible that one of the reasons you would do all of that is because if you have a lot of healing to do on a soul level, and like there's no real knowing what happens when we die, when we have people that claim that they know and this and that, and some of them may, some may not. I also don't think there's necessarily one answer. But like you have people that, like some people, if you believe in mediumship, they think that it can take a certain amount of time before you can have like a reading with somebody that's crossed over, or you can talk to somebody who's died. Others think that, it depends on some that you can talk to them immediately. Some say it depends on what that soul's going through. Like if somebody dies quickly, traumatically, maybe they haven't even crossed over yet, that kind of thing. And then that kind of comes back to the whole like ancestral like stuff, and if it perpetuates and all that. It's all very interesting. I have a very different feeling on all of that, but I'm not even going to go into that. And I just think that as a soul, or I'm going to say soul, you have lots of different spiritual experiences, right? Because you're here, there, and wherever. And I just think it's whatever lessons you have to learn and whatever you need to experience and whatever. And if you're really I just think it's very individual, but I think that there's probably a common thread of what's going on in all those different lives as far as how healthy or where that soul is, spirit, which is why you would be doing so much, because you would think you're trying to rise it up, right? You're trying to ascend, not descend and doing stupid shit or being in a negative, whatever. So it's just very interesting.
Well, you were sharing. Let's see. Tom said, Doubting Thomas said, he likes to call himself Doubting Thomas.
What do you got to say?
He appeared to me, this is his father. He appeared to me again for the first time only last year. Only took him 35 years. So you saw him, but you still aren't sure. But he shared that with us. And while you're talking,
because I just wanted to say, and I don't know if he said this here, I remember him saying that he feels that it's possible that we project what the mind is projecting. It's not necessarily
the mind's that powerful.
The mind is very powerful. Look at all the shit that people manifest, good and bad, because of their intense focus. And so I get that. I don't think so, but I understand why you would look at that as a possibility.
And Ange came in. She was late. She got hit by a car. It was a car accident. Car backed into hers in the parking lot, so she's okay. No injuries. Insurance has already been. They're at fault, but it's okay. I know you got a lot of shit going on right now too, sweetheart. But we're all here. We're all sending you lots of love and healing energy, and positive. We're keeping you in our thoughts. So let me just go ahead and go through the comments. And Vale said, the past, present, and future are happening at the same time. Everything is dimensional.
That's another thing. And I almost mentioned that, but I'm not sure how I feel about all of that.
Me
but
too.
It's possible. It's almost too much for me to wrap my brain around, but but that's why I said some could be slightly, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
And then she added, I started thinking about this when I read Jane Roberts back in the 80s. I don't know who Jane Roberts is, but I know the 80s started really opening up a lot of talk about astrology and spiritualism, started kind of taking, a mainstream focus. So that was
There's
probably
somebody out there. I just want to mention, anybody that's interested in like different. Ainsley McLeod is amazing. Ainsley, Ainslie McLeod, McLeod. He's an amazing. I'm gonna call him a channeler. He's amazing, and he explains. I'll be very brief. He explains that you evolve and go through different stages in your soul. And most of us have been through, you name it, all of it. We've done the bad, the ugly, and have progressed and maybe even back down a little bit depending on something, because you've got free will, all this crap, whatever, and then you go forward. And anything you're experiencing, on some level, you wanted it or whatever is his theory or his belief. On some level, doesn't mean you asked for it necessarily. Very, 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 very interesting angle on what he has to say. That's all.
very cool. So Allison, I do kind of believe that way. Excuse me. I say this for, oh my goodness, excuse me, I got hiccups. I say this for the fact of how people are able to foresee the future, like myself, before it happens. I think it also goes into the Akashic records too, maybe. And we kind of touched on the Akashic records last week, and not really sure if they're real. What exactly are they? Can we really tap into it? Some people probably, some others maybe not so much. So that would be an interesting topic.
And that's very cool. Trop, I just want my partner, the guy that I'm with now. We've been together almost a year, which is crazy. It'll be a year and a couple of weeks. He's a seer. He's had no formal training, anything like that, but he's absolutely a seer. And it's very random what he gets, and it's dead on accurate. And he doesn't know why he gets what he gets. He's also had a lot of other little snippet experiences that are all, metaphysical stuff. But the seer aspect, like knowing how something's going to play out, like basic, sometimes some actual seeing of stuff, and then it happens.
That's why I get confused sometimes, the difference. I know we've had Cleo on. It's been quite a while, or quite some time, actually. I know I had asked her one night what was the difference between being a seer and just being a medium and being able to see this stuff. And
but a medium is talking to spirits.
It's strictly
you mean psychic. To spirits. You mean the difference between a seer and a psychic, not between a seer and a medium. A medium is just talking to the dead.
Okay. There's just a lot of confusion between the different.
Medium is the dead, talking to the dead. A seer is being able to project something that's going to happen off in the future, and that's what it is. Whereas psychic is just knowing shit, and it could be all kinds of different things. Knowing something right before it happens, seeing something, knowing somebody's lying, seeing this thing and knowing how it's going to evolve. A seer is just an event in the future and knowing how that's going to turn out. Just that. That's a seer.
Gotcha.
The way I understand it. Like Cleo goes by Cleo the seer, but to me, she's psychic. But she also does some seer type stuff. So she's probably both. But like Val says, we all have all of these gifts. It's just whether they're there naturally opened, whatever. But like who I'm talking about, he's a seer. That's what he's doing, is seeing.
And Vale said, my grandpa died tragically, and he visited my 4-year-old son 2 days later. I watched him talking to him.
Yeah, I love that. My son was under a year old, and both of my grandparents died, and they both visited him in his crib early in the morning, and he'd be in there because he slept with me. He didn't sleep in his crib until he was well over a year old. But I would put him in there in the morning, like if I was going to go shower, making my whatever, in the kitchen or whatever, and he would be in there jabbering away and laughing and whatever.
Who are you talking to?
Who the hell is in there? So it was probably the grandmas, and then also my friend Adam that he's named for, but somebody was in there.
And their videos
goofing around with the baby and making the baby laugh and playing with the baby, for sure. Because he was looking right, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
He's having an exchange in spirit that he can see with his little baby straddling both planes self, but you can't see anything. So
And
yeah,
there
it's
are
very,
actual
very, very
videos
cool.
now on YouTube where parents are catching their children talking away. They're like, "Who's that?" And they'll turn out and look at the
Exactly. That's what
camera,
he would do.
and some are laughing, they're talking.
He'd
Sometimes the
babble.
baby gets slipped, and you can see a form standing by the
I never
crib.
did, but that's so cool.
There's some videos that are up there, and so Vale says that the person she mentioned, she channeled somebody named Seth, and that name does sound familiar. So I think that was very popular back in the day. I think Seth is some sort of ascended master or
Very interesting.
spirit guide. So
that name is huge for me. My friend Adam that I'm talking about, that my son is named for, this is a whole nother story, and I'm not going to go into it, but his brother took his own life just a couple years ago, and that was his name. It's just interesting. That's not a name you hear every day.
No, it's not.
It's not. So
and Mandy just wanted to share again, I believe we are of the springs of goddess energy. Okay, so we're all from goddess,
potato. Yeah.
And now Tom, victim blaming as religion. I don't know where we're getting into this. And then he says, "I am kidding. Don't ban me, Allison."
Victim blaming. I'm not sure what it's probably several comments back. I don't know what that ties into.
I've been trying to keep up.
Victim blaming as a religion. Yeah.
Okay. Is that
a lot of people? Yeah.
Because this chat is really jumping. So Anise McLeod or Ainsley McLeod. So there, thank you, Ange. That's the
thank you.
Let's see. We call that the knowing.
He's written several books. So good. So good.
And Vale says we call that knowing, the knowing in my family. Many of us have it. No control. It just comes through.
And being a seer is not as common, which apparently, and I didn't know that, as a lot of the other gifts. So, but not that he's unusual. There's a lot of people that have it, but I guess it's one of the less likely ones to it's just there. So.
And Teresa says, as I'm listening to you guys, fireworks are going off outside my front door. It doesn't stop in my neighborhood, and probably is going to start again up sometime tonight or tomorrow. So, and then Mandy says, too many labels. So Empress said, yep, I did that when I was young. I have watched some of the babies in my family do the same thing, looking up and talking to someone.
Oh, thank you,
most
Tom.
could see there. So
it was in reference to the Ainsley McLeod. You were going through what you asked for.
Yeah.
It's by design.
Again, that's a topic that we've discussed about free will and contracts.
It's really like the way he puts it. It's just so fascinating. And he talks about coming in and like wanting to kind of like master different experiences. Like being a catalyst, being a martyr, being a victim, being a whatever. It's good, bad, and the ugly. You experience all of it just to have the experience. Because as a soul, that's another thing. When you're a soul, you're like, oh yeah, I can do that. Because you're in paradise. You don't have this concept. You're so strong. You are at your best, right? You are God's spark. You're in your true essence when you're on the other side. You're like, oh yeah, I can handle that. And then you come in and you're like, oh my God.
What the hell did I sign up for?
Yeah, you sign up, you come in, you're like, oh no, this is way, way, way too much. Or some people come in, they do perfectly fine. Or you have moments that are kind of difficult. But you can get overly lofty because you're wanting to check off and evolve a lot in one life. And you might get in and actually get through it, or you might come in and you just like, oh my God, I can't do this, So it's just, and that's what he's saying. He's like, it's all on you. It's all on you. When you go back to the other side, you'd be like, oh, well, I did really good. Or, oh, I put too much on my plate. Well, I didn't do so good. Next time out, and it's just, it doesn't mean that he's right, but it really does make sense, especially the way he writes it. I'm probably not explaining it the best, but he's written a couple of books that are very easy to read, meaning you can get through it really quickly. And it really does make a lot of sense what he has to say. And he's channeling all this too.
Interesting. And then Mandy said, this
With
is
his guides.
interesting. My son asked me why his legs were white when he was 3 years old as he sat in his car seat. A lot of kids still have connections to past life memories because they don't have that, you know, that conditioning, in society that we're not supposed to believe in those kinds of things and those abilities. No, you sit still. You be right here. You be a good boy. And then my daughter told me she was going to have a lovely mummy. And I'm like, oh. So yeah, kids are smart. And hello, Green Adventuring Tarot. I think you joined us last week or in another show. Welcome back. Love this conversation. My amazing grandmother, Shirley, passed in 2020 at 100 and had a huge butterfly painting in her front room painted by her Leo sister. She was an amazing actress. That sounds wonderful.
I
That's
just want to
beautiful.
comment on something I saw from Tom. Yeah,
Yes?
and he really doesn't, Tom. He's very I'm summarizing big time. He's
Okay.
very oh wow. You can see him live too. He's very incredibly empathic and sensitive, like extremely. But he really does put us in the power of what we're experiencing. We are in the driver's seat. And I believe it. I do. I do believe it.
Alrighty. So, yes, welcome back, Green Adventuring. And Vale says, my cousin and I always dreamed of dying as other people. Wait a minute. My cousin and I always dreamed of dying, as other people. We thought it was normal, but was told to never talk about our dreams. Very interesting. Yep, and that's how we shut down.
Yeah, a lot of parents do it and they just don't know because they're not really evolved themselves, or they just fear stuff, or they had parents that shut them down, or any number of things.
Or they're concerned about what other people would say, even though they know it's true and they have
Yeah.
maybe those same experiences as well.
Yeah.
Kind of got to keep it all hush hush.
I always was very much like almost on the edge of my seat waiting for my son to say some woo when he was little, and he didn't really utter any woo at all. But I did get a reading when my son was very young, and doesn't mean that it's right or true. Although I did get a reading with Val regarding my son, and it was very, very similar to what I was told many years ago when my son was really little. But anyways, I was getting a reading for myself, but she tapped into my son and she told me this reading that I got a long time ago that he hasn't had a lot of earthly experience. He'd only actually been this planet a handful of times, and he's been on lots of other, and so she saw him as, and her symbol was, and I love this, her symbol was one of those little beanie hats that are rainbow with the little propeller.
Oh yeah, the little spinner on it. Yes.
And that's how she saw him, and that was her symbol for a young earthly soul. And so, I mean, he's had lots of, experience, but like this is an intense planet, and I do believe that that's true. I don't know that it is, but that, it's not for the faint of heart. You don't come in here to have an easy go of it. You come in here to friggin' evolve spiritually, or you don't come to Earth.
And speaking of abilities, I know Nancy had to leave chat because her son, she messaged me. She says, David brought me over some food and we're going to have hot dogs. So enjoy your hot dogs, Nancy. We love you, my dear. But her and I were talking backstage. So now, kind of backing it up, before we did a live, this was backstage about a week ago, she was talking about her husband, Ricky, who had passed away. And I had this sensation that there was kind of like in my mind's eye, I can't see really clear, but I had told her I see a guy with dark hair and glasses. Was this Ricky? Because I thought maybe because this is what I was saying, because she had been talking about Ricky. And she's like, no, that's not him. He didn't look like that. And she goes, not sure right now. And so while her and I were talking backstage today, she was talking about one of her guides, and it was a former family member. I know she shared on our live, but I'll just say it was a family member of hers. And something just made me like just say, Nancy, remember that description of that person? Did he look like that? And she goes, well, I said, dark hair. She goes, yeah, he had dark hair. And I said, glasses, dark glasses. Yes. So I think I was picking up on the spirit guide that's coming more strongly through her. It was a family member. And so I think the more we stay grounded and we practice, or we're more open to our guides, and if we want to develop our abilities, they come naturally as we. And for me, that was another validation that I'm getting better. So it was so wonderful. I was
Oh,
just like
I
all
love that.
excited.
Yeah.
So I
Hmm.
wanted to share that.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's awesome that you got that.
and let's see. Cleopatra's cat is in the house. Well, he was until he wasn't. But we have Cleopatra herself. But you know what was
I was
interesting?
Cleopatra once, and so was Heather.
You know. But what's funny is, did you
That
realize
was
though?
before we were in Lemuria together. Or no, I think that was after. I don't
Either
know. I don't
it was
remember.
either Lemuria or Atlantis or me. And
Atlantis. I don't think I was in Atlantis, but maybe I was. I was told I was in Lemuria, so I was definitely in Lemuria.
yeah, but Cleopatra's lover, his name was Antony, very similar
Right.
to Anthony.
Yes, this is true. Hmm.
And you got really hooked into the Egyptian this past last
There's
summer.
there, I don't know what it is, and I don't know for any of you that have seen. Yeah, there's some Egypt something with me. I don't know what it is, and I'm
Hmm.
not saying it was all that. I mean, I could
Yeah,
have been a
but I
proper
was
there.
just
I mean,
having
I don't
fun.
know, but
What a coinky dink.
there was some lifetime that had
Hmm.
something to do with Egypt
Oh,
or
definitely.
something. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. There's something about Egypt.
Well, maybe Allison was Cleopatra's
I could
cat.
have been a brick hauler. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
but there was something to do, male, I don't know, something to do with Egypt at least once. Like I had Egypt coming out of the friggin' woodwork
Yeah.
for a
Every
couple.
day she was like, "Oh my God,
Egypt,
Heather, look at
Egypt,
this!
Egypt, Egypt,
Look at
Egypt.
this!"
Like
Yep.
all, it's like, oh my God, enough already. But I don't know. I
So,
don't know what it is. I should get a
and
reading. Next time I get a real reading from somebody that I feel like is the real deal, I should probably just what was with all the what is that?
yeah,
What the heck with all the Egypt stuff?
that would be cool. Vale says my last two deaths were during the World War II. 6 year old and a
2 year old and a
3 year
three year
old.
old. Yeah,
Wow.
and we do have lives that where we can't believe supposedly whatever again as far as where we come in and that is the objective. Some people are like, oh, why would you? I don't know.
I don't know
We
either.
don't know. Like people are like, oh my God, and all these things. And don't get me wrong, I don't like suffering. I don't like to see anybody hurting, this, that, and whatever. But it's like, you know what? If you decide to come in, let's just give an example. Say you decide to come into some third world country
Hmm.
to live your life, suffer, and die as a 2 year old. You don't know. You did not plan that for yourself. You can argue it all you want and say, oh, but you don't know. As a soul, you do not know. You don't. You don't know what you plan for yourself to evolve and experience that for whatever reason.
I don't know. I have a hard time with certain things, especially with children, and that's
That's
something that one
fine.
of the few
Yeah,
points
because
that I
it's
agree with
sad and you're an empath.
Lomella is that what child comes in, and that's where we have free will, but then other people's free will can make a mess of what we came here to do, and that could not, and that
Right,
doesn't
but that's not what I'm
necessarily we're
talking
supposed
about.
to be a part of the
Right.
plan.
I'm talking about coming in, having a short experience because you wanted to experience whatever it was. I'm not
Mhm.
talking, and I'm not even getting into the details of all of that. I'm just saying a short life lived, whether it was it tragically, you suffered, you this, you that, whatever. My whole point, I'm not arguing. We don't know. We don't know. And clearly it happens for a reason because it wouldn't happen over and 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 over. I mean, it just wouldn't happen if there wasn't something to it. We just come in here with amnesia. End of story. We don't know why.
Miss Taro D shared with us, my nephew in PR. Um, oh, I know what I can't think.
Puerto
Remember the name.
Rico.
Puerto Rico. Thank you. When he was a little kid, told his uncle that he couldn't go with him in the car because there was already somebody sitting in the seat. So his uncle went without him, and there was an accident, and the passenger side was crushed. That's where he would have been sitting.
Right.
Wow. Oh my God, Miss Taro
Wow.
D. Definitely a family member protecting him.
Yep.
I just got goosebumps and shivers
Yep.
from that one.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Miss Moonlight said, I was
I
their
also
cat.
knew she was going to say that when I started reading it. I already, yeah, which is cool.
And Miss Moonlight says that she was you and Anthony's.
I was their cat.
Anthony's
Exactly.
cat.
Yes. Yes.
And then Tom was like, I was Cleopatra's cat, not the same one, but the other one.
Right.
So this joke is never
The
going to
ongoing
die
joke.
now. No. But maybe, Allison, you were one of the aliens that built the pyramid.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe I was having some life as some sort of ET and I was a brick hauler. Sure. And I know you're joking, but I'm just, or maybe you're not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey,
but yeah, my whole point, there's something about Egypt. But see, the thing of it is too, let me say this really quickly. I think depending on whatever, and again, we don't know any of this shit. You've had lives all over the freaking place. Some were significant, some weren't. You've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lives, most likely. So to get an inkling about one, it must mean that something really and also a lot of those lives, you did die young. You died very young. Why? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it wasn't going so great. You decided to check out. I think we have exit points available to us. Maybe if you're like as a spirit, because I do think that we travel at night when we're sleeping in the dream state. I do think that we do that. Maybe you're like, yeah, we're gonna cut this one short. I'm out. I decided I don't want to do this. I'm sure it's not that easy, but you know what I'm saying? You're like, okay, kid dies, right? Not to make light of it, but it's like we take this all so seriously. And don't get me wrong, I am very emotional and I'm very sensitive and I get it. But at the end of the day, we are human. In this moment, we are a soul. We look at this as like a play. You come in and experience this, and once you're dead, you are
there
gone.
We go, right
you
there.
Are not connected or care about any of this. You care about the people that are here because you're connected to those souls. But it's like the life, you leave it, you're done. That's like, I don't believe the whole. Sorry, I'm just gonna say this, you guys. I don't believe in the whole ongoing. Like, I believe that there's trauma that I know that it is I'm on my dad's side. There's been stuff that I believe, like trauma that's passed on through families and all that. But I mean, as a soul, no. I think once you die, you go to the other side, you heal whatever you're working on, and whatever still needs healing, you come in your other lives and you work on that. You are your own project. Period. That's what I believe, because that's what makes sense.
It's interesting that you're saying that, because this had popped in the chat from Vales. The person and the soul are different, like the person and the character in a play or a movie.
Yes.
And you just said something very similar.
Yes, absolutely.
And now Miss Taro D, this is funny. I think I was a prostitute in all my past lives and still couldn't earn a buck. So here we go. Here we go, Miss Taro D.
That is one of the themes, prostitute. It is, and we've all been prostitutes.
So Miss Taro D maybe was Cleopatra's prostitute.
A prostitute can be many things, right?
Yes.
It's not necessarily a traditional, but prostitution
and
profession
Tom
out there,
says
right?
He was joking about I am not an ancient aliens kind of person.
Right.
All right. So let's see. To experience love. Yes, we come here sometimes just to experience that. Miss Moonlight, I think I was a 50s housewife. A casserole pan brings me great joy. True story.
Right.
So maybe connections.
We've been male, Amanda, we've been female. You've been probably a spiritual person. You've been a murderer. You've done all these things. I'm telling you. I really do believe. You don't have to believe me. I'm just saying, I know it. Like when I feel it, it's like in your gut, and I go by that. It's like, yeah, this is true. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So and that was our last comment there. Yes, we astral project in our dreams. in our sleep. I experienced it a few times. I don't like it.
Astral travel is
Astral
what
travel,
I,
excuse me. I'm
yeah.
trying to keep track of and catch
No,
up
it's
with
fine. But
this.
I didn't see it on there. I'm just saying that's what I know it is. Astral. That's what I meant to say. Astral
we
travel.
astral project
Yep.
in our
You
sleep.
take off and you go and you do things and you go to the other
Manny was
side.
a dancer. Let's see. Wait a minute, Tom. I was trade in my past life. That's why Miss Tarot D is so drawn to me. I was trade.
There's
I
probably
don't know what that means.
there.
Yeah. But yeah, Tom is now the new Steven for Miss Tarot D in the chat on a Friday.
Hold on one second. Yeah, hold on one second.
Yeah, why in the hell would I want to live this terrible life by choice? Sometimes you wonder, Isadora. I don't think it's all black and white like a lot of people say it is. I really think there's a lot of we're not cookie cutter. Not every life is someone's life is going to be the same. And I think that's something that Tom and Jeff and I covered on a Saturday, and maybe we can cover again tomorrow night, seeing that we're talking about some new stuff. If Tom is available tomorrow night. Each of deaths teaches us and others, quite possible. Soul travel. I have so many dreams at night that I can't even and the medication I have to take at night to help me sleep affects my dreams and my recall. So there are times when a lot of my dreams might be just screwed up because of the medication that I have to take. So sometimes when I dream, I know that I'm actually recently I was somewhere in a dream and I was like, pay attention to find a street sign, I'm telling myself in my dream. And every time I go to find a street sign or something with the word on it, the letters are jumbled. I can't read it. I can't understand it. And that pisses me off to no end, because it's like, I'm trying to remember, I'm in the stream for a reason. Why is everything all like dyslexic, when it happens? And Beth is here. I love astral travel. I just wish I could do it more. I wish I could intentionally do it and be able to remember it and have a good experience like some do. And Miss Tarot D, this is at Tom. That makes so much sense now. Good thing we are unpacking this. Oh, talking about the you two are something else. Tom, and I agree. I used to do astral travel more, but I feel the older I get, the harder, more fearful I am of it. So, Tom, if you can astral travel, then why is it hard to think that there is life once the body dies, if you're able to consciously leave your body and travel? I'm kind of confused with that.
Say that again, Heather.
Well, Tom says that he used to astral travel. So he's had the experience of his spirit and soul leaving his body. So I'm just curious with Tom, why can't you accept that there's life after death when you're actually able to leave your body as a spirit, as a conscious spirit? So what would be the difference?
They're not the same thing, though.
Between after how so?
Well, I mean, your soul is eternal and you're in here having a life. It doesn't mean you're necessarily going to come have another one. Maybe this is the only life that he had. Maybe he's only had a few. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, this is the whole life after death, though.
I'm just saying, I'm thinking like Tom, right? I don't necessarily feel that way. What's that?
I said, that's scary.
Yeah.
Tom, I love you. No, you're picking on you. I wonder about my soul's purpose. It's complicated.
Oh man, it's gonna storm. It is gonna storm like a mother.
I hope so here. Well, it looks like the sky's
about to go down. I wish you guys could see the sky over here. It's so cool.
Wish I could too. I dream super vivid. I do wonder if we slip to other realms while we're dreaming. It's quite possible. I believe we do pre-plan some of the events in our life before we are born. Rest is by free will and other people's free will. Let's see.
I personally believe we pick our parents. We pick our children if we're going to have any. That's actually, I'll say one thing about that really quick. I believe there's a couple different reasons. People that come in and that they experience, might be a slightly touchy subject, but I'll be brief on it. People that experience infertility, male or female, I think it's because you didn't plan on having any children when you're writing your life path or your chart, and then you come in and as a human, you're like, well, yeah, I want to have a kid, or yeah, or your partner does, or whatever, and that's why you're infertile, and you can eventually make it happen. A lot of people, some people not, and I think in part, I mean, also I think diet plays a huge role in that, as well as vaccinations and everything else, but I digress. But I do think it could be the one thing that I was just talking about. Very interesting concept. That's all I wanted to say.
Alrighty.
Because it's not in your chart. It's not in your chart.
So Green Adventuring says, can you two expand on your spirit guides interaction? I have met one of mine recently. He was 1800s looking man, looked like William Hurt. He helped me leave a situation with ease. Very interesting.
I have no idea. Don't know anything about my guides. I've never even tried to connect with them. I personally don't even really have any interest in that. I think it's cool. I'm more interested in my ancestors and mediumship and all that kind of stuff, and angels. And
those are guides, aren't they?
My spirit team is terms of like animal guides. Not that I don't, I do, but I don't care about like, what's your name and all. I don't care. That doesn't, they don't even care. That's a, I don't know. I just don't really connect with that. And I get it that other people do. And I think that's really awesome, but that's not really my thing.
And Tom says, I broke Allison. Nah.
Hello, I broke Allison. What's he talking about? The dark light or just
something? Yeah, talking.
And I am gonna have to go in just a minute, you guys. My man's here in the other room waiting on me.
Oh yes, it's 9:30.
Yeah, okay. He's here. Yeah.
So we'll be wrapping this up then. Maybe. Okay, let me just back up here. First of all, Empress says, I hate astral travel. First time I was floating up in the air towards the ceiling. I looked down to see my body lying in my bed. I was then pulled back down to my body and woke up out of breath. That can be scary.
That's an out of body experience.
Yeah, the astral travel. Yeah.
Now I have astral travel, but I don't remember it. I just know that feeling is slamming back into your body right as you wake up. That is supposed to be what that is, and I have experienced that. But the whole seeing yourself out of your body and all that, and I know a lot of people have done it, and I believe it. And I know Heather had that when she had an NDE. But me, I've never experienced that.
And for me, that was just like a little snapshot. That's all I remember from that experience.
Right, but didn't you have a near-death experience?
Yeah, when I almost drowned in my pool and I saw myself
right. So you saw yourself in the water.
I wasn't scared. I wasn't,
Right, and
really
partly
weird.
because you were a little kid, and so you were an innocent, and good. And I'm glad, right? You weren't like freaking out or anything.
No, from what I remember, yeah. So, really quick before you go, Tom says astral travel does not necessarily mean is your soul. It comes back to the discussion we had about what the definition of a soul. Oh boy, here we go again. I don't really believe in the idea of past lives or the soul continuing on, but I do think wherever we are, energy or just even mentally, we are. All right. But I do think whatever we are, energy or just even mentally, we are able to expand outwards into the world. And just ending here, maybe it's just energy. Maybe we aren't even really leaving and we are just seeing the world and experiences differently. So
maybe we're not even here right now. I said, maybe we're not even here right now.
Who knows?
Maybe none of this is real.
So
I'm just thinking like Tom.
Oh yeah. So Allison's got to get going.
I do.
The Beloved Dead Oracle that you might.
And I apparently don't have any light anymore anyway. So no, I'm just kidding. It's just dark in here, and it is. The sky is looking so cool right now, you guys. It's gonna go off in just a minute.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for sharing, and
maybe we could do some readings next week.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Maybe we could pull some cards. I just pulled my deck a few minutes ago, started shuffling just for the heck of it. Do you ever just shuffle, Heather?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then I have to look and see what, just out of curiosity. I'm like, oh, that,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So Mandy said she had 2 near-death experiences. Tom has had 2 involuntary out-of-body experiences. And Amanda thinks we are in a matrix. Oh my God, I hope not. So embrace the darkness, Allison, Tom says. And Ms. Tarot D, interesting conversation, everybody. Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you
Yes.
for joining Allison and I. Yes, get to bed, Mandy. It's 2:30 in the morning where you are. And we'll see everybody next Friday. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night.